Next item on the agenda is 2020-0238, Parish President Remarks Report. Mr. Jewell, looks like we have a video.
Yes, sir. First, I'm going to start off with just a general report, and then we'll go into a slideshow similar to what I did at the last council meeting. Just a COVID update. Total of 1,448 total cases, 52 deaths related to COVID-19 have been reported in St. Charles Parish. As a reminder, the governor has extended his Phase 2 executive order through August 28th. The statewide mandatory mask mandate remains intact. Bars are not allowed to sell alcohol for on-premise consumption, and all public gatherings are restricted to 50 people. The St. Charles Parish COVID dashboard is live, and it can be found on our website at www.stcharlesparish-la.gov/COVID-19. We found that that's been doing very well of kind of streamlining that information for our residents. This Saturday, St. Charles Parish residents will have the opportunity to vote on 3 important millages. The road light, street light is 1.01 mills. That's a renewal. And you have 911 communications, which is a 1 mil renewal, and a millage continuation of 4.53 mils for the public libraries. That vote is this Saturday. Many cities and municipalities around the country have seen a decrease in sales tax revenue due to the effects of the coronavirus. St. Charles Parish has seen a 3.8% decrease in 2020 versus the same period this year. So we will continue to monitor that closely and keep an eye on that for budgeting purposes. That's one of Grant's main responsibilities. We've been watching to see what each month's sales tax is and how it's trending. We're hopeful that this will start to go up, and we're going to be starting a campaign to encourage everybody to shop local, support our local small businesses, and spend their money in St. Charles Parish and keep their money in St. Charles Parish. Tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., RSVP and the Public Information Office will hold Senior Census Day at the Community Center to assist residents with filling out their 2020 census. They will host a second day on Thursday, September 10th from 1 p.m. to 2:30. Additionally, the deadline to complete the census has been changed to September 30th. That was actually moved up. The census is crucial to ensuring that states get their fair share of billions of federal dollars that fund hospitals, schools, roads, fire departments, and other valuable resources. You can complete the census today. 2020census.gov, it only takes about 10 minutes to do, and we'll be making sure to have all the precautions necessary when our residents are coming to the community center. You will have your temperature taken. You will be required to wear a mask while you're in there as well, and there will be social distancing measures in place. In June, we applied for a $5 million grant from the DOTD for 3 drainage projects related to some of the projects we've presented in Ormond. That's a structure to eliminate flow conflicts at the T intersection of Carriage Canal and Stanton Hall Drive, the addition of a bulkhead in the drainage ditch on Carriage Canal, and a structure to channelize flow from Carriage Canal to avoid conflict with water flow at the Dunleith Canal and maximize flow capacity to the Destrehan No. 2 pump station. We received a letter, I believe, either yesterday or today, Friday or today, to that grant application has moved on to the next phase. So that's good news, and we'll continue to follow that process as we continue on here. Job openings, we have carpenter, distribution, maintenance tech, electrician, equipment operator 1 and 3, and a part-time food bank clerk. That's in Office of Community Services. If you believe that you qualify for any of these roles, I encourage you to visit our website and apply at www.stcharlesparish-la.gov. I should mention that we are going to get with, we've kind of had preliminary conversations with Corey Fauché to start aggregating job openings, not just for St. Charles Parish, but parish-wide job openings to help people who are looking for a job find a job. So we'll be putting that on our website. We may be exploring, a half-page ad in the paper, but just trying to get those job openings out there to make sure our residents can take advantage of those. We're going to move on to the presentation. All right. This is kind of a public works presentation. We'll start it off with a littering PSA, as we have done. So on the right, you can see some debris in the ditches. Again, this makes its way to the pump stations. We're asking people to not litter. It's unhealthy, it's unsightly, and it can affect your drainage. On the right, it's hard to see, but up on the bank of those canals is banana tree leaves that someone has tossed over their fence after cutting them. When the water gets high, those will eventually flow all the way to the pump station and get lodged up against the bar screen cleaners, potentially reducing flow. All right. All right, we are sweeping ditches behind Aquarius. I even got on the machine there, as you can see in that picture, and took a scoop out. It is much harder than it looks. So I commend our public works folks for their ability to operate those machines and operate dual joysticks. But it was fun to do it. I did a couple of scoops, had to clean up behind me, but my inner kid was out for a second. It's kind of one of those things when you're a kid, it's one of those, you always want to get on an excavator and play around. So that's going to drain Aquarius Street and the surrounding neighbors in Honville. And when we get further down, we will cross over and make our way all the way back to the railroad track. So it should help that. Mitchell Lane and DeSalmons, this is us sweeping some more ditches, reestablishing drainage in some swales, I guess, that have collapsed over time, as well as cleaning culverts. All right. This is work going on in Honville along, this is the excavator you see on the left-hand side there is the rear of the excavator is actually facing South Fashion. So we're at the railroad tracks at the end of South Fashion. And we are taking down trees and we'll be reestablishing those ditches so that they flow much better. This is catty corner to that on the Fashion side. So this is an area that we have yet to touch with the machine, but as you can see, there's not very much drainage area defined there. So we'll be going in and fixing that. We'll look forward to bringing you an after photo of that. All right. This is cleaning ditches, sweeping ditches along the Ama grain field from the from River Road to the tracks in Ama. So we're working on that. We're also working on some ditches, a ditch on Zeller Street that we had started cleaning, but weren't able to finish because of high water on the river. But just giving you guys a kind of a representation of what's happening all over the parishes, going in and cleaning all of these servitudes and conveyance ditches. All right, last time I spoke with you guys, we talked about a meeting that we had with Secretary Sean Wilson of the DOTD. Two items that we mentioned in there were cleaning parish servitudes along their right-of-way, as well as collapsed culverts on 631 in DeSalmons. So we're happy to say that they've almost completed one whole side of Paul Mallard. This is them working from River Road to Highway 90. Today I went and checked on where they were. They were literally almost to BNSF Railroad. So they'll be turning around there and then working their way back to River Road. So they've taken out a lot of trash, and a lot of area that just was holding water is now opened back up. So we're excited that those residents will see some relief. There's also a Baptist church on Paul Mallard Road that's also experienced some flooding with these heavy rains. So we're hopeful that this project will help get water away from that church. All right, this is work being done at Barton and River Road. This is not our project, this is DOTD, but they're installing a turn lane there. And you can see, hard to tell from the photo, but on the right-hand side, if you're looking at the photo on the left, they're laying some arched concrete pipe and reestablishing drainage, which was once a ditch, but they're basically creating some more right-of-way for them to be able to fit that turn lane. All right, we met with T. Baker Smith and talked about the drainage master plan. As you know, they're working on phase one, which is Honville and Ama. They've been on the ground looking at the conveyance and conveyance issues. We talked to them about what we'd like to see, again, what we'd like to see in their model and how we'd like to look for ways to model future growth as well. So we'll be following up this meeting with a meeting with planning and zoning to go over our land use map and look at these first two areas and how growth should be modeled in the drainage analysis. All right, moving over to the East Bank. We have some sidewalk repairs in St. Rose. This is on Riverview Street. Tree roots had caused significant damage to the sidewalk, creating some tripping hazards there. So we tore up old sidewalk and laid new cement so that residents could utilize that. We also repaired some catch basins. This is on Rue Sidney Drive in St. Rose. The cement around the catch basins had cracked over time, and there were weeds and stuff growing up through it, so we went over there and basically tore up that concrete, set it back to where it should be to allow water to drain in there appropriately. All right, you can see work being done along the CN Railroad in Destrehan. So first step is grubbing, and then the picture on the right, if you're looking, is what is there basically right now. This machine is on the other side, facing the direction that they're going. They're working on the north side, basically from River Point or Scheck-Snyder Lane towards New Sarpy. Now, I've seen a couple of people talking about this project. This water isn't flowing to New Sarpy. I did use that last time when I spoke in a video, that they're headed towards New Sarpy. The water will flow in that direction, but this water will not be picked up by the pump station in New Sarpy. This will make a right-hand turn going north to the Scheck-Snyder pump station, which is a pump station where we're adding a 36-inch pump, a 48-inch pump. Currently, there's two 36-inch pumps at Scheck-Snyder pump station and a 30-inch pump. That 30-inch pump is going to be upgraded to a 48-inch pump, so that'll significantly increase capacity. Again, on the right-hand side, that's kind of what you have right there. It's like kind of a meandering stream, and on the left is what we're establishing there. I'd like to eventually come back and subsurface all of this. That way we don't have to worry about this stuff sloughing off, but that's a much larger project that would have to be engineered. And I've also received some concerns from residents who live on the south side of the CN Railroad along River Point, River Village, and those adjacent streets, that the ditch isn't as big on their side as it is on this side. Well, that is true. We definitely have more right-of-way to work with on this side. We are going to do as much as possible on the south side of the CN Railroad, but again, there is less right-of-way or servitude to work with. We're on the south side, we're mostly up against people's bulkheads and other things like that. So, and the railroad's not going to let us take anything off of the toe of their embankment. So we got to kind of tread lightly in there, but we will establish as much conveyance as we can. But I do want to stress that there's multiple crossings under this railroad track as it works its way down towards the Scheck-Snyder pump station. So improvements on this side of the tracks and increased flow on the north side of the tracks will improve drainage on the south side of the tracks as well. All right. All right, this is Culvert Cleaning in Norco. This is on Oak Street. This was actually taken today. We're also supplementing this with changing out old culverts. Norco, when you drive through Norco, they have a lot of 10-inch culverts, maybe some 12-inch culverts. So you saw some photos on Mary Street at the last council meeting. We're continuing to sweep ditches, change culverts, blow out ditches, and clean catch basins in Norco to help create as much drainage flow as possible. All right, non-drainage related, but still a good project. The Muntz bathroom. We put a bathroom at the park in Muntz, right by the spillway. We poured a slab and put a bathroom on top of that. In the next 2 to 3 weeks, it should be completely plumbed, with plumbing and with sewer and water, as well as hooked up to electricity, and the sidewalks laid for people to access that. In the future, we'd like to asphalt that parking lot, but that's going to be a great addition to the Muntz Park. And to coincide with that, we see great progress on the Muntz bike path. Spoke to the contractor last week myself and said, we need to get on the stick on this one and get the ball rolling. Happy to hear that the next day they had a grader up there, and today they started the asphalt pouring. So last week they got it prepped. The asphalt is going down today, and they're going to continue on. Do want to thank Danny Aber, who's the engineer on this project as well, for all of his help getting this project moving. Okay, back to Norco. We are installing telemetry at the engineer's pump station. If you're familiar with the telemetry system allows us to see in real time what are the conditions at our pump station. What are the levels of the intake? What are the levels of the sump? What are the levels of the discharge? We probably won't be monitoring the discharge on this particular pump station since it pumps over the spillway guide levee and goes into the spillway. But you can see on the left-hand side, that's the small box that the controller units go in. On the right-hand side, you can see the I guess, plungers that they have or the floats they have, which when those floats raise up, that's what triggers the pump station to turn on and it's set at a very specific level. These will become a redundancy for the radar system that they'll use. The radar system actually shoots radar down at the water, and that sends a signal back to the radar telling it the canal level. It's much more accurate, and we'll be using that to get an exact measurement. But this will allow us to monitor the station from the EOC, from Public Works, and it'll send us an alert if there's any type of issue with a soft start or any kind of malfunction at the pump station. So we think this is a good addition and just allows us to have a better eye on what's going on with pump stations. All right. We're also working on weather stations. Currently, the parish has 3 weather stations in addition to the weather stations that we have. We only really have rain gauges on the pump stations. But this is a weather station, and we plan to add 7 more by the end of the year. By the end of 2021, we hope to have 20 of these weather stations throughout the parish, and once installed, they'll serve as a vital tool for storms, rain events, as well as being able to monitor canal levels. So if you see this one, this is at Stanton Hall where that canal kind of makes a T and goes down to the carriage lane canal. The radar system, that's why it kind of hangs over the canal, hasn't been installed yet, but it'll look down at the canal and tell us a precise level. And then we can set alarms to see, because this is on the path on the way to Destrehan number 2 pump station. So the water right here is going to rise before the water at the pump station is going to rise. So we'll be able to set an alarm on this just to know how much water is coming. Gives us a better picture of how the drainage system is working. And if we have significant rain and we don't see the water levels rising, it may be an indication of a blockage somewhere. So we think that this is going to be a good project. It's going to give us a better indication of what's going on with weather around the parish. And what I would hope to do once we have them installed and the software is running well is make this information available to the public, to where they can log on to our website and see these rain gauges and have access to that real-time data. All right, and then lastly, I think I talked about last week that we're doing a catch basin campaign for residents to help the parish clean the catch basins. Again, we're not asking residents to remove that heavy cast iron grate on top. In fact, that is a huge liability, and we really do suggest you not do that. But with over 14,000 catch basins in the parish, after large rain events, where we potentially could expect more weather, it would be a great help for people who are physically able to help Public Works just clean the top of their catch basins. If they're not physically able, we do ask them to call EOC or to call Public Works, and we'll send someone out to clean it. But we do have a little video that we'll show in regards to that.
Thank you, Mr. Jewell.
Oh, the video's gonna play. Sorry, it was a delay there.
I thought that was the video.
We're conditioned to weather the storm and take precautions year-round to protect our homes from water. One thing you can add to your checklist, cleaning your catch basin. This is a catch basin, also referred to as storm drains. They direct the flow of water away from the site into the nearest culvert, which then guides the water to canals and eventually parish pump stations. Debris like leaves, litter, and grass clippings can pile up in and around the outside of the drain, which can prevent the flow of water to culverts and can cause flooding. It's important that these areas stay free of debris and that you do not throw yard clippings or trash into canals or ditches, as this will cause our waterways to clog and can lead to local flooding. The parish's Public Works team manages over 240 miles of canals and ditches, and with more than 14,000 catch basins throughout the parish, we need your help to keep the water flowing. If you see a catch basin that needs attention, we ask that you use a broom or a shovel to clear debris away from the opening. When it comes to flooding, we are a team and have to act like one to keep our storm drains clean and clear. If you are unable to remove the debris yourself, or a catch basin is internally clogged, do not remove the grate. We encourage you to contact Public Works at 985-783-5102.
So we'll be posting that periodically, and we'll hopefully expand on this campaign, get people to adopt the catch basin in front of their homes, and just be a watchdog over it, for example, just to see if there's anything that goes into it or it gets clogged, and to notify the parish. And that's it from our report.
Thank you once again, Mr. Jewell. Any council remarks, comments? Seeing none,